Hi everyone, and welcome to IGN Anime Club, episode 19. Yay anime!
Yay anime!
Yeah, we did it! Okay. Hi, I'm your host, Marina Sanchez, and this is a show about anime. We just talk about, of course, the most recent shows that we've been watching, and then we dive into some topics. Joining me, as always, is Olenigi.
Hey, everybody.
Who do I want to introduce first?
Decisions. Hi, guys.
And then Kelly Paghi.
Hi.
And then we have a special guest from Viz Media.
Yay.
Charlene Ingram. Hi.
Hi. You guys can call me Char. Like a Mander, but I'm more of a Zard.
Pokemon jokes. Yeah. Pokemon jokes, yeah.
Pokemon.
That's the best.
Pokemon's very important.
Char, thanks for joining us. Thank you so much. I'm super excited to have you guys on. We haven't had Viz yet, so we're just like, yes. Yay, Viz.
Hey.
We like you guys.
Thank you. Yay, IGN.
Yeah. So what do you do at Viz?
Well, I'm Senior Manager of Animation Marketing, which means I'm in charge of all the marketing stuff for the anime group. So we do publishing, manga, books, and we do anime, DVDs, Blu-rays, streaming, download to own, all of that. So I'm on the anime side of things, and I work on all of the shows with my team. A couple of shows, like we work on Naruto and Bleach and K, and most recently we're doing a lot of work on Sailor Moon.
Yeah,
Sailor Moon.
we like Sailor Moon here.
We do like Sailor Moon.
There was a very long period of time where we could not have an episode where we didn't talk about Sailor Moon. So it was... People were like, guys, you keep talking about Sailor Moon. It's like, yeah, because it's great.
Sailor Moon's really important, okay? So.
Yeah, it's, a foundation of many of our lives. So.
Yeah, I feel like my days are... Sailor Moon, Naruto, a little bit of Bleach, a little bit of everything else, but Sailor Moon, Naruto, so it's, yeah. And I love orange, so of course I love
that's
Naruto.
Perfect. Naruto.
I don't know many people who like orange, so it's always great to finally meet someone who does.
I really love orange, so I have wallpaper in my apartment. It's all orange slices.
Oh, wow.
That's really cute.
Wait, I thought you meant the manga orange, and I was like... Oh, yeah, I heard that's good. And then you were talking about colors.
You were on topic.
Yeah, you were on topic. I wanted to read it. It's supposed to be good. But nope, colors are also nice. I like them.
I love all the citrus colors, so that's my weird quirk. Because, a lot of people don't really love orange.
No, it's not a popular color. It's always kind of fun to meet someone who loves it.
Like, it's good. It's better than yellow.
Yeah.
You don't like yellow? I don't like yellow either. I love yellow. That was a great.
You
love Pikachus. Wait a minute, that's very scandalous.
So I love Pikachu, but I don't love yellow on its own. Like, yellow on its own is just like...
It has to be Pikachu related?
Yeah.
Speaking of Pikachu, we have a new Pikachu here. We do.
Oh my god.
Where'd you get it, Callie? I got it from Miranda at the Pokemon World Championships this weekend in Boston. And I got 6 in total for different people, including myself.
Yeah, because they're only sold there. So.
They're exclusive. So this is Patriot Pikachu because
cute.
It's in Boston and he's a little patriot.
He's like a naval patriot.
Cute.
Yeah, he has like a little Team Aqua pirate hat. But so a lot of the kids there thought he was a pirate, and I had to be like, oh, you haven't taken U.S. history yet. He is a patriot.
Aww.
And so I basically brought back a whole Revolutionary Army with me.
George Washington would be so proud right now.
Yeah.
Which Pokemon would be George Washington, though? I mean, because he's kind of the starter, right, of all the presidents. So you have to pick your starter, so it could be any one of them.
Oh, God.
It's really philosophical.
Is there Pokemon with, wooden teeth?
I mean... There are some made of wood, so
yeah, pseudo-wood up.
Yeah, it's depends on how far down you want to go.
Yeah,
the founding fathers of Pokemon.
So let us know.
There's fan art of that.
Yeah,
and I would like to buy that fan art.
Oh my god!
Somebody make it if they have it already.
Says Pokemon.
I would maybe buy that.
Abe Lincoln Pikachu. Do it.
What if they're all just Pikachu? That's fine.
Reimagine the presidents as Pikachu. Go. So that was a fun event. It was cool to watch competitive Pokemon. It was really cool. And of course, Pokken was announced for Wii U.
Yay! So excited.
Yeah, and I got to play it a little bit, so that's cool. I'm going to talk about that more later this week. And
what are you going to talk about that?
I'm going to talk about it on Nintendo Voice Chat Well, it'll probably go up on Friday, so yeah, look out for that.
Yeah, look out for that.
Yeah, I'm going to be on NBC talking about Pokemon. But yeah, so it's technically anime, so there we go. That was my weekend.
You were watching some people play Pokemon, what else have we been watching? Whoa!
Whoa!
Meg way.
Meg way.
Except it wasn't.
It wasn't me, so I can't take
was
take
me.
any credit.
Dio, no.
It was me.
Dio. Surprise. Anyway, yeah, what have we been watching? Well, actually, no. We just need to stop this right now. We just need to dive into Mako no Mondays.
Oh yes, we
as
must.
always.
Have you been
So-
watching Makoto no Danshi at all?
Not yet.
That's probably good.
But I know the spoilers, so don't worry
okay.
about me.
You know what it is.
You know what
it
It's
is.
the weird
I'm so
pillow boy.
sorry.
Wait,
So if this is your first week tuning in, Mako no Monday is our Mako no Danshi
Viewing
time.
party.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
our,
so-
the miniature in-office like
We
watch
gather,
party.
Yeah, we gather on Megan's desk and we stand there for 4 minutes and cry.
Yeah.
It's
Just
shows
hate
the-
ourselves.
bad.
Yeah, so this week we actually invited someone else,
Yeah,
Chastity.
we invited the new girl
Oh,
to watch
oh.
this.
Chastity watched it with us.
Wow.
Chastity's on our Snapchat team, and we were like, "All right, this is your introduction to the show," and we pull it up on Crunchyroll, and it was the 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Innocent Danshi.
Innocent Danshi. And we were immediately like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, Chastity. So
We made her watch the first episode first, just
Yeah,
to sort of
so she
ease her
had-
into
yeah.
it.
So we've been dreading this episode, basically.
For some reason, I thought this was going to be the last episode. They're like, okay, with the stinger, it's a little 5-year-old, you're tucking him into bed. Okay, it's like the last good night. Whatever, it'll be fine. And it was just like,
No.
it was a little weird. In the introduction, they always have like this one shot of the person you're going to see that episode. And the shot of the kid was really weird because his hand was up his shirt or something. And it was like, what is happening? I don't.
Yeah, I think it's
I
supposed to
don't want any of
scratch
this.
his scratch
like,
his
maybe
belly like
scratching his
kids
tummy.
do, but it
But
was
it's just a still shot.
yeah.
It's
It's just weird.
It made me really uncomfortable.
It was-
And the title card,
Ruin.
the title card has a short description of the character. So for like the first guy, Mary, it was like something like, the normal dude. I don't even remember because I don't care enough.
Sleepy man.
But yeah, sleepy man who's really annoying in your house. But for Innocent Danshi, his was like innocent and hot boy, and I'm pretty sure it was just a bad translation. And they meant like heated, like
it's really a hot
he's
summer.
warm.
energetic boy. But that
No.
we were
That's
so
not how you read
uncomfortable.
Nope.
No.
We were so uncomfortable because this show is supposed to be about like you're supposed to like these boys and they're supposed to kind of like ease you into sleep, and so it was just really
Like your
uncomfortable.
dream man.
Luckily, it was
Yeah.
mostly just the kid being a total brat the whole time and just being
an actual
obnoxious.
5-year-old.
Yeah,
Yeah,
being
5-year-old, yeah,
a 5-year-old. So nothing weird happened, which was the good news.
Except at the very end where he's like, let's go to sleep now, cuddle up. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll protect you. And I'm like, no, I'm the babysitter here. Like, it's my job.
yeah, I'm going to go to the library and check a library boy, and
Yeah,
you take a nap.
library
The
boy.
library boy has to
I don't
save
remember-
us.
I don't remember what he looks like.
I don't either. I think he had like a giraffe tie or something. We are hoping that Library Boy will come save our lives
Yes.
from this
You just
show.
hope
He's an
he's-
actual adult. He's 28 years old.
We hope he's just silent. I personally hope he's just silent the entire time.
Yeah,
He's
just
like,
the entire
library.
time.
that's fine.
Like it's okay. You don't have to speak. You'll just ruin it. Like,
Yeah, enjoy the silence.
Still shots of a guy
pretty.
just reading a book, and then like the only animation you see is like him turning the page.
Yeah,
That's
that'd be fine.
And then occasionally he
Stop
just
it.
goes, "Don't try to talk to me. I'm reading." And I'm like, "Yes,
Yeah.
sir." Like, okay.
Like, that's what this show deserves. That's all it needs.
That's
Like,
what
stop.
we deserve for putting so much time into this show.
Yeah,
So-
we're being punished.
So, if you haven't already, please check out Mako no Danshi
Or don't,
Tell us
just
what
laugh
you
at us for
think
doing so.
about the stretch.
Hopefully, our updates are all you need. So that was our Mako no
Yeah.
Monday update. You're welcome.
So
I'm
aside
trash.
from awkward shorts, what else have you guys been watching? Or Char, what have you been watching? You're a
Well-
guest. We want to know what you up to.
Well, I've been watching Gangsta. I really
Yay.
Like that here.
I really like Gangsta. Like it's my dose of violence for the week. Makes me really happy. And the other show I'm really enjoying, and anyone who knows me and knows like I have some pretty weird genres of TV I really like because I'm super happy and glittery, but I really like stuff that's prison themed. So I love Prison School.
Yeah.
And
I
especially-
love that
Yeah,
so
so you,
much.
Sailor Moon, you got the mooncake necklace, you're like glitter and
You're like a
and
super-
rhinestones, and then you're like prison school.
Like adorable, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, I love it.
But yeah, like on the weekends when there's like a lockup marathon, it makes me really happy. So I really like prison related shows, and I like things that are over the top and crazy. So Prison School is pretty much the best. I also really like vice presidents, so I love Joe Biden, okay?
Okay.
And I love Nozomi from Love Live, so I'm always really attracted
Okay.
to vice president characters. And in Prison School, there's a really awesome vice president.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely love how specific that is.
That was ultra
Yeah,
specific.
My thing is I like prisons and vice presidents. Like, I love it. I wish I knew myself that
Throw
well.
some glitter on it, and it's just perfect, right?
Glittery
It's
vice
awesome.
presidents in prison. Like, I want you to have that show because I love that you know yourself so well.
Like, if there was a glittery, like, Takarazuka type review that starred, like, a Joe Biden lookalike doing a musical in prison, I would be there for every performance.
Oh my gosh.
So, yes, when I say know thyself, I know, like, prisons, vice presidents, sparkly things, magical girls, and idols. So, it's just very specific niche I fall into. And it's important as a marketer to know that just because you like something doesn't mean it will sell. So my Joe Biden review probably wouldn't sell very well, but it would make me very happy. In one person.
I wish I knew myself that well. That's amazing.
Well, if they can make a hip hop show about Alexander Hamilton, which is doing really, really well on Broadway.
Excuse
they
me.
could-
Excuse me. Back
Oh,
up.
you don't know
What?
this. Oh, you don't know this. Okay, so there is a show that's playing on Broadway, either on Broadway or off Broadway, about Alexander Hamilton, but it's a hip hop show. And it's
That
getting
sounds amazing.
rave reviews, and I so badly want to see this because everyone's like, "Oh, Alexander Hamilton, he's on the $10 note. He was shot by Aaron Burr." That's all anyone ever knows of him. And so there's a whole hip hop musical with a super diverse cast, and it's supposed to be amazing.
But what's
I'm
what's
interested.
it about?
I love Founding Fathers
about his
fan
life,
fiction.
but all in hip hop form.
Father's fanfic.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me more.
Washington Jefferson / fiction.
Whoa, whoa! I was thinking it, but I didn't think you were actually gonna go there.
Oh, come on, people. I'm just saying what we're all thinking. That someone has to do it.
Oh my god.
We just went there.
Yeah, we just went there.
Oh my goodness.
So
Don't Google that, kids.
Yeah,
there's a
don't.
Joe Biden meme with anime girls, right?
Yes, I know all about it. And as soon as that happened, so my Twitter feed pretty much exploded with Joe Biden with all my waifus. Especially
How does that
Nozomi.
make you feel?
It makes me feel really good for Joe Biden, because you know what? He deserves it. Because he's pretty moe.
This is the best.
Are we? Am I thinking of the same person? That Joe Biden?
Yeah, Vice President of the United States.
It's what?
Okay, I know we already asked for fan art of Pikachu presidents, but I actually really want fan art of a Moe Joe Biden. Moe Biden.
That might be the bigger
Biden.
need
There you
here.
go.
with like every waifu you can think of. Also, who's your ultimate waifu? Do you have one, or is it hard?
So
to
my favorite idol type. So I really, really, really love Love Live. I play the game a lot. Not so much recently because I've been going to so many conventions, so I haven't had enough time to like really get hyper competitive. Like I go for tier 1 for every event, and I get vicious. Like it becomes like serious, like terrifying.
Yeah.
Like
It's like prison
Charizard mode.
shanks.
Yeah.
You shank them.
So I love Nozomi.
Yes.
Nozomi is pretty great.
She's great.
She is great.
She's very, like, she's the right kind of weird. I really like that she's slightly creepy. She also knows what she likes.
Yeah, she
Is not
does.
afraid
She
to
does.
say it.
Yeah.
So I really, but I also, I like glittery idols and stuff. It's a lot of the same reasons why I really love Love Live. My favorite anime of all time is actually, besides Sailor Moon, is Sakura Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
So the same things that made me fall in love with Sakura Tyson are why I really like Love Live, because it's all, girls and musicals and magic and glitter and happiness and teamwork, and you feel really good after watching it. So I like those shows where, like, you believe yourself and you become really successful.
Believe it.
Yeah, like Naruto.
Yeah.
Like, he works really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and then the boy ends up all right. So,
It seems like he's in a pretty good place
Yeah.
yeah. Like
by
he
the
gets-
end. Yeah.
Yeah, no
some trials.
spoilers, but he
Yeah.
doesn't settle for vice president. He
Yeah.
just goes all the way.
Yeah.
Never settle, kids.
So I'm trying to think of like what other dumb president memes there are with like anime. Like the only other thing is I remember that I thought this was a joke at first, like Barack Obama thanking Japan for anime.
Oh no, that's real. I watched the
real.
video.
It's real.
No, the way he says it. So in the video, I highly recommend watching this video where he thanks the president of Japan for multiple things. It was emojis, manga. Like he goes manga and anime. Like Obama says it like that. It's beautiful. And I think also karaoke. And I was like, Obama's, yeah, he's like karate,
It's very
manga,
enunciated.
and anime. Yeah, he says it like that, and I'm like, thank you for speaking to the hearts of all the weebs in America.
I wonder with how he pronounced that. I wonder if he was reading it on his prompter. I wonder if he was reading phonetically. He does a lot of speeches. These are the things I wonder. I'm like, the way newscasters know the phonetic alphabet. I'm like, do you know the phonetic alphabet? And if you do, that's really cool.
yeah, like the linguistic phonetic alphabet. There's an acronym for it, but yeah, I was curious because I was like, there's like you can just say anime or like karaoke. You don't have to go karaoke. Like
yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. Like if
weird.
you want to be, I guess, kind of correct in how it's pronounced, and like I guess it makes more sense if you're trying to be respectful of your guests. It's also a little alienating for the people who watch because that's not how we pronounce it generally. I mean, like you say anime, that's correct. Yeah, that is how it's pronounced. But we just say anime because that's what we've adopted it as.
I think that's what he thanks them for too, like not Zen Buddhism or sushi or like anything like that.
No,
it's
man,
anime and manga, and I was just like, all right, it's
so
yeah,
in line with our love of presidents today, and or always vice presidents especially. Yeah. Would Obama and Biden have a good anime together? And should there be idols involved?
Well, it would be I think it would be like a buddy cop type anime, like they're going on a quest and there's just weird things happen to them.
Yeah.
Dirty pair.
Kind of like Dude, Where's My Car, but with more with more parliamentary procedure.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they would have this buddy cop dialogue in the car together, but they would do it in full parliamentary procedure because the vice president is the president of the Senate, and that would be his weird car rule with Obama. It's we have to you have to propose a motion to stop for a bathroom break. But the joke would be that he could never get a second because there's only 2 people in the car.
And can we get hitchhiking idols thrown in there somehow?
Hitchhiking idols that join Obama and Biden.
Yeah, a group of school idols that just have to get to nationals. So you throw a little bit of Glee in there, and then you find out one of them's actually a magical girl, and she has to go fight crime.
So you've thought this through?
No, I haven't. I just have this very weird stream of consciousness. That's why I work in anime because it's on my level.
I feel like secretly you've thought about this before. It would make a great anime.
This is our beautiful impromptu show, and I want to know, you guys, our listeners, what would happen in an anime with Joe Biden and Obama, and you have to mix in school idols somehow.
School idols.
In an appropriate way. Don't be
You know what?
Or any type of idols, really.
Yeah, idols.
I think Michelle needs to have a special mention in this anime. Michelle Obama should really Michelle Obama should be the magical girl.
No, she should come out, and she's actually the coach of the school idols.
Oh my god!
She's been moonlighting as a school idol coach, and she's super active, right? She's very big on activity and making sure that kids are out and playing and
well, I mean, Let's Move can include dancing to idol music. Have you seen those dances? They're pretty tough.
Yes.
So
that's how she gets those arms.
That's how she gets the kids to be fit. She makes them dance. Oh my god! Now I want to read fan fiction of this. Wow.
Okay. Yay, anime!
Yeah, there's a lot of weirdness in this head, so I'm sorry, internet.
No, it's great. This is great. But so that's anime we'd like to watch.
What anime we're actually watching? Well, I have another one on the line of presidents and vice presidents. I am still watching Shimonetta somehow, and the president character I hate more than anything, and the vice president character I like a lot. So if you're not familiar with Shimonetta, are you familiar with Shimonetta at all? Mm-hmm. So I hate Anna so much. I think her character makes everything terrible. She's just, it's too much for me. I don't like her. But I love Kajo, the Blue Snow. I love her. I don't know why. I just like her. She's just so weird. And I like her a lot. But it's one of those shows where I'm I wouldn't say it's, I wouldn't recommend it to my friend. I wouldn't be yeah, you really got to watch this show. But I still find it really entertaining, despite myself.
Yeah, it's so over the top. I think that's one of those really cool trends in anime lately is there's just some really over the top stuff that's just over the top for over the top's sake.
It's capital A anime.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, it's, not for first timers.
Yeah. So this is not what I'd throw you into. Yeah.
Sometimes I feel with people who are, they've seen a little bit of anime, being online or on, Toonami. So thinking of anime kind of like toddler toys. So like the easily accessible ones are like newborn toys. Like you're not going to hurt yourself on it, and it's going to be bright and colorful, and you're going to like it.
Yeah.
And then there's like toddler toys that are like, okay, we've established that you like anime. Let's try this. And then you start getting like more advanced, and now you've watched so much anime that you get to the point where you need things like Shimoneta and Prison School to like keep getting your eyes out of you.
Yeah.
This is how far we've come.
So it's like a drug. After a certain point, you need something really strong to get that same hit.
You're just you're chasing the anime dragon.
You heard that,
pretty
kids?
much-
Anime is a drug.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
It's like it's really easy to love. Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon and Naruto.
Yeah, I mean, they're
Like, it's
popular
really-
for a reason, right?
Yeah, and they're really and they have a lot of really universal themes that are positive. Believe in yourself, work hard, and you'll be really successful. Even if you're not actually a magical girl or actually a ninja, you can still work really hard and dream. But then I like that there's a lot of anime, like there's a misconception that it's just all action or very by the numbers things, but there are a lot of shows that go really, really, really deep. Like some of the stuff like the josei stuff or the more mature titles. Like I would put Gangsta in there. Like you wouldn't expect. If you're not into anime, you wouldn't expect so much violence in what looks like a cartoon.
Right.
And then you're like, wow, this is a really deep story, and it kind of needs the violence to move it along.
Right.
Because it's got that darkness to it.
Yeah, I think the reason I'm watching Shimoneta now is because I'm watching a lot of deeper, like heavier anime that makes me really think. So the Gangsta like really gets me to think about a lot of different things, and I kind of need a break after I watch it. Like I just need to absorb it, and then I just turn on Shimoneta and I'm like, whatever. I'm just watching this because I need to recover from something
like
else.
little like palette cleansers, like things like Maru-chan as well. Like it's just like
yeah.
palette
I love
cleanser.
her.
Yeah, so cute. Like you can't exist on a diet of things like Gangsta or like the really like deep dramas alone, because you'll go
You'll
nuts
burn
and you
out.
won't be
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
You need like little fluffy things that just make no sense.
They're just
Right.
happy.
Yeah.
It speaks to your soul. It's like, yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, you just need something that's a good time sometimes.
Yeah, you can't like have all vegetables and you can't have all candy, right? So you have to have both.
Right. I think Wakakozake is doing that for me too. Wakakozake is
Absolutely.
a great palate cleanser because it's only like 2 minutes. It's just a cheerful, like it makes me want to go out after work and find something to eat by myself, like not feel like I need to be with somebody else. And it's just sweet. Like I showed the first episode to my roommate last night where she like eats the salmon and the guy's trying to kind of hit on her and she just walks away.
Yeah.
I was like, that is so inspiring. Like I wish I could do that.
It's one of the few shows that my boyfriend just like stopped doing what he was doing and just watched. I was like, yes,
It's kind of like
it's happening.
It's a peaceful kind of show. Like I just
Yeah.
kind of watch it. I'm like,
It's just nice. It's pleasant.
Life is nice.
Yeah.
Well, there are some shows that just kind of make you feel nostalgic for them while you're watching them.
Yeah.
Shows like Fruits Basket.
Ah.
Like every time I watch Fruits Basket, like it kicks you in the heart a whole lot, but you almost feel nostalgic as you're watching it. And Anohana's that way for me too. Like I don't know if you guys have seen it, but that ripped my heart to shreds, and I was not expecting it to. So I'm a big fan of Noitamina, just the whole block. Like I really love the theory behind it and that it exists and as a way for artists to play. And I just love those things that are just kind of a switch. Like Anohana looked like the sorbet of anime. It's like, oh, this is gonna be sweet and pastel. And
It's like,
then,
nope.
no, but it's gonna make you think.
Surprise!
Yeah.
It's gonna make you hug all your friends.
Yeah, or like Madoka, where you're like, oh, happy Maguka, and then you've seen the Maguka meme, right? Spoilers. That's not spoilers, but Maguka is never mind. It's a meme, so sorry. But the Madukas. That's one where I started. And I was like, oh yeah, happy theme song. No.
It's a trick.
It takes a
a
couple
trap.
to get you there.
It's a trap.
And that's actually, it's really, I really admire Aniplex, working on that title, because working in marketing, we're very driven by art, because it's art. That is the number one appealing thing about a show. It's always, art and characters and story. Everything about Madoka Magica, that makes it resonate with people is not expressed in any of the key art, because part of the secret sauce is that it's a switch. So you want to tell people, oh, this is really awesome, Tim Burton-esque, like deconstruction of magical girls. You're really getting into it. And all of the art is frilly cupcakes. That can make some people feel a little uncomfortable. Like if you can imagine going to the store and you're like, oh, like I like all this like really hardcore stuff, and then I get like the pink cupcake anime. Some people might not want to buy that or watch that because you're judging a book by its cover. So
School Live is like the perfect example of that.
We had a problem with that too. It's like we're like, oh well, this is like moe zombies. Like okay, so you're gonna get some cute moe girls and they're gonna beat down zombies. That's fan service, whatever, boring maybe, and didn't seem super appealing. And then when you got to it, it was like this really deep show, and you're like, and like a part of the problem with that too is there wasn't much marketing for it, and there wasn't. I mean, maybe in Japan, but stateside, it was hard to find a lot of good material about it.
Yeah, the description of that show. Like I volunteered to review that one because I was like, I might as well because I like zombie stuff, but I'm probably not going to like it. And then, because all the description I'd read was just kind of like, there are zombies and they're cute girls at school and they live in the school, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, so it's like you've done it before, but wait.
But a key part of this of School Live is the bait and switch too. Like it's you're supposed to kind of be at ease. You're like, oh, they're gonna be cute and hit zombies, and then no. Yeah, so I like bait and switch shows though, but it's hard to. The problem with that, obviously, like you've been saying, is getting people to take that initial leap and watch it, and get them in at that first episode.
Yeah, that's why I encourage, even at Viz, and we do a little anime club every Wednesday. Like, we eat lunch, we watch 2 episodes of anime in the office in the meeting room with the biggest glass on the side so people can walk by and see what we watch. And we've been watching My Love Story in Prison School, which is quite the combo pack.
Yeah,
it's quite the double feature.
Different.
Makes you feel really fluffy, and then what? It's pretty great. But I encourage everyone, even though, like at Viz, we don't pick up a huge amount of shows, but the ones we pick up, we put like all of our energy into it. Like, we'll really put all of our energy into it. But I still encourage everyone, watch 5 episodes of something any season. Just like, spin the wheel, watch something. Chances are you will like something. And if you get too stuck in your ways with the things that you like, you won't explore or discover anything new. It's like that meme that's going around that people say, there's no music anymore. They clearly stopped listening to new music when they were in high school, right?
Yeah.
So there's 30, 40 shows every season. Like, chances are one of them you're going to like. And even if you don't like one show, like you put a 20-minute commitment in, it's... Like, you never know, because you'll find things like School Live.
Yeah, like School Live, like the bait and switch shows. It's like those are probably one of the most satisfying shows you'll stumble upon, especially if you had a lot of doubts with it.
It's just, the sad thing is they're sometimes the most difficult to sell.
Right, of course, like the hardest to even like pitch to your friends because you don't want to spoil what's going to happen.
Yeah,
like by now,
super hard.
Like everyone knows that Madoka is not just a fun magical girl show. Like everybody knows that it's not. A mystery.
But everyone we infected with School Live, we have to sit there and explain. You have to endure the first 20 minutes. And when we endure, don't turn it off. You're going to want to turn it off.
I was one of those people who were like halfway through. Like, I like moe stuff for the most part. I like slice of life stuff too. And about halfway through, I was like, this is like too much. Like, it's just, I'm kind of bored. And I was gonna turn it off. I was like, no, I mean, I know some people like it. I might as well just power through. And I was so happy I did. Like, it's just one of those hard things. Like, if you can't sell yourself on it, like how can you sell someone else on it? So, it's hard.
But now so you're
easy.
Talking about things having like a 20-minute setup for a joke. That's not so bad. But there have been series before that take a long time to get going. Like some really, really good series. Like one of my favorite series is Bleach, and it really takes about 20 episodes to get going. And that's longer than a lot of series even last. But when it gets going, it gets so good. Or One Piece takes a while to really get going. But you can start in multiple places, so there's that. But everybody wants to start at the beginning.
So should we forgive anime for doing that? So like with One Piece and Bleach and Naruto, like we expect that those are going to be long series, but with most of these, it's going to be 4 or 5 episodes, or 4 or 5, 12 episodes to 24. And if it takes 4 or 5 episodes to get into, or like if it's a 24-episode series, it takes like 8 episodes to get into the real meat of it. Like, is that too long? Like, should we forgive that? Like, I'm having a problem with Roka no Yusha because I know people love it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a chance. Like, I know there's something big, and episode 4, like, oh, it's kind of the big switch and like the bait and switch part. Not really. It's more
Not
just
really.
like it's more of just like the here's the
It sets it
big,
up.
It's like the big reveal kind of. Hey, there's a big issue here. We finally have.
Yeah. Suddenly you have a ton of different heroes all at once, too.
Like, you get all the heroes and the big plot of it that, oh, there's a traitor amongst us is revealed. And it's not captivating because the past 4 episodes were boring.
Yeah.
And the characters aren't that interesting. Like, it's just...
I stopped at the end of episode 4 because I was like, I don't, at this point, I don't care. I know how this is going to, they're all going to blame Adlet. They're all going to, it's going to be this twist and turn and whatever, but it's like 4 episodes in, and the first 3 episodes, I mean, I had to power through. I was pretty bored, and it was sometimes bookended with good ideas, but the execution is just like, oh, let's just go,
Yeah, it usually takes about 3 or 4 episodes. If it's a genre that you like, give it 3 or 4 episodes. If it's not a genre you like and it's not recommended, to you, like it's like, no, dude, you gotta watch this, then it's okay to give it 1, maybe 2, because like I'm not super into high fantasy.
Yeah.
Because I imagine everyone smells really bad, and that's hard for me.
That is amazing.
I can't watch Game of Thrones because I'm like, can you all take a bath, please?
I think about that too. I'm like,
so weird.
How often did they shower? Like, how did you like?
They just didn't.
They just didn't.
That's why there's
But,
like perfume.
That's true. But how did anybody like ever date? Like I like at the end of a workday, I'm like, wow, I don't want to see anybody because I'm all gross and I got on the BART
Yeah,
train.
but you're gross too, so you wouldn't know. Like no one knew. Like you had no perspective.
Smell,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Like find like a
base
compatible
level.
grossness,
Right.
But see, I live in modern times. We have showers. It's pretty great. So the type of sci-fi fantasy I like is more futuristic, or even if it's dystopian. I'm like, well, yeah, but they probably had showers. That's my weird thing. So it's gonna be really hard for me to personally like high fantasy, and I know a lot of people they really love like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, like Record of Lodoss War. Like they really, really, really love that stuff because that's it's a genre that they really like, and they're gonna give it more of a chance. For me, it's like it's gonna be pretty mind blowing to get me to sit through it because I gotta get past the smell.
So it's so weird. I love high fantasy. I'm not as keen on sci-fi stuff. Like I find sci-fi stuff to be very monochromatic and sort of grim and always a lot of post-apocalyptic stuff, whereas high fantasy, it's blue skies and grassy valleys and dragons and elves running around, and it's something to escape into, whereas it always feels like when we imagine the future, because we have no faith in ourselves, that it's always slightly dystopian somehow and depressing.
Star Trek.
I like that.
Well, Star Trek's the exception,
No,
but it feels like everything, I mean, I almost said Stargate, Battlestar Galactica is so good, but it's so depressing.
So
I don't
good.
wanna
There's blue skies.
I don't want to
Battlestar
spoil it, but I feel like there's a really strong counter argument to that, but I cannot spoil it for people who haven't seen it.
I don't know Star Trek at all.
No, I'm talking about
Battlestar
Battlestar.
Galactica.
You know what I'm
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about.
Battlestar
That
Galactica
too.
is one of my favorite shows. I took a Battlestar Galactica class in college. I love that show. I've always been more of a sci-fi person than a high fantasy person. And I really like dystopian stuff a lot. I also think about showers with dystopias though. Like in School Live, I'm like,
They mentioned
But
that.
they
though.
have that one
I know.
episode.
So the first episode, I was like, oh, but what about the showers though? And then they addressed it. I was like, thank you. It was the burning questions that I have about this show. But so I watched the first episode of Roka, and I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
Yeah,
Like,
so it's hard, finding those shows, especially if we say give it 3 episodes, and if it's not clicking, then maybe you drop it. Yeah, it's like that's our rule,
rule of
thumb
3.
here. It's
Our
like
little-
rule of 3.
Yeah, and if it's going to be a long running, and a lot of times you could tell by if you get really nerdy and you look up the time slot it's running in Japan and what it's taking the place of, you can kind of sense if it's going to be really long. Then to give it a little bit more of lead time because some of the stories that become epic. So One Piece is an epic. Right? It's not meant to be understood at the beginning because if it had all that power in the beginning, it wouldn't have the power where it is now. So it's a slow burn. Same with Naruto, but Naruto starts off really strong too. Like it, it kind of does the wave, just like life. It's a life lesson. Same with Bleach. It kind of does its wave, and even Sailor Moon. Like I think, Sailor Moon gets off to kind of a slow start until she finds her team, but then it just gets it just glues you to the screen to the point where it can become distracting. That's how what really resonates with you, and you'll know if you really like a type of show or a show. You'll start getting that glimmer in your eye and get really passionate when you talk about it. Even if you say you don't like it, you're still talking about it. So
Right.
there's obviously something that really hits you, hits you in the feels.
It's just somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
All right.
Yay, anime.
Yay,
It's a
anime.
weird, like, that was a.
It's getting
that was
really
great.
deep. Getting really
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah, gotta sit here for a second thinking, like, yeah.
Got
Yeah. Although I started One Piece. Like, I've never seen it from the very beginning, so I made it a point to watch One Piece from the beginning this weekend. And I have to say that I thought I would like this shonen series the least because I'd seen bits and pieces of it before and it just annoyed me. And I was like, well, that's not really fair. I should try to watch the first season. I'm not going to watch 900 episodes. It's not happening. But I'll at least try to watch the first season, see how I like it. And I've watched the first 3 episodes, and so far it's actually okay. I'm actually
really
enjoying
funny.
it.
It's super charming.
Yeah, I started it from the beginning as well a while back, and I really like it. It was one of those that I didn't think I would like. My cousins were really into it when it was like on TV and 300 episodes ago or whatever. And catching it from at that point, I was just kind of like, At the time, I didn't think it was for me because I was a girl and it was for boys and whatever, stupid stuff. And so I was like, this show, I don't think I'll like it. And then I started from the beginning and I found it really charming.
I thought it was a very Saturday morning cartoon to me. Like, I liked that feeling.
Yeah.
With like all this. So I watched Bleach, I watched Naruto, and I watched One Piece. And I thought One Piece was the one I was going to like the least. And I ended up liking it the most. It just has this wonderful sort of light tone and sort of this cartoony feel to it. And it kind of took me back to my childhood where, you grow up watching Saturday morning cartoons. I was like, that's kind of nice. It's a nice nostalgia trip. So,
Yeah, and it's a good way, and it's got, a lot of those great long-running shonen action shows have, really great first opening songs. Like, One Piece, Bleach, Naruto, you just know it. And it's just, Naruto Shippuden, the first theme songs just get you excited.
They're so good. Then you go download them and buy them off iTunes if you can.
And that's a great thing. As anime fans now, oh my gosh, you can get so many anime songs on US iTunes. Especially if any show, if the music is done by Sony or King Record, you just know it's going to be on iTunes and it's going to be great. And you don't have to get Japanese iTunes cards to buy all your anime songs, even though you still have to get the CDs.
I'm
if
so
you want
old.
karaoke tracks.
I still have all my compact discs of all the
man.
best of anime openings and endings.
I remember when I was a little kid, I didn't really understand legalities of downloading stuff offline. And so there's all these anime sets that go I want this song. But also at the time, I couldn't get that music if I even wanted to, legally. So I was just downloading a bunch of songs from Naruto and Bleach back in the day, when they were
using
first.
Napster.
I don't know what it was. It's some anime something site. Of course, as all those go. But
Yeah.
Here in the Bay Area, it was
dark days.
you would travel down to Japantown
Yeah.
and hope that they had imported what you were looking for. And
Yeah.
sometimes they hadn't, and they said, well, we can get it for you, but it costs this much extra because we'll have to
so
get it special.
expensive.
And you're like, no.
It was
Part-time
expensive,
job
and it
doesn't
took
cover
weeks.
that.
Weeks
Yep.
to come ship over from Japan.
But I was I'm still a big packaging nerd, so I still buy a lot of CDs from Japan because I like the packaging, I like the art, I like little stickers and everything. I like to, maybe it's reflective of my age, but I just really love physical media. I love the way it
It's nice
looks,
to
it
have.
feels, it touches. Even this is going to get really weird. I even like how good packaging smells, or the way that the texture is. Of the paper of the boxes, or if it's got little O cards or shimmery bits like that, it makes it feel like Christmas to me.
Yeah, that's not weird.
Packages are the best.
It's tangible.
Or a book, the smell of a good
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
So, I think we're gonna go ahead and jump into some Q&A with you.
Okay.
We have some questions about you and Viz, of course, and with anime, and kind of going back to the international sort of thing and different cultural things. Our first question is: Viz primarily covers North America, but are you aware of any differences within anime for domestic and international, or especially with Japan? How do those audience prefer different shows? Do you guys have any statistics or fancy things to figure out who prefers what? I know I went to a Bandai thing and we found out that Saint Seiya is super big in South America, and I hadn't really heard of Saint Seiya, and people were like, "Yeah, Saint Seiya. Why don't you guys talk about that?" I was like, "Because I've never seen it, never heard of it," and it's just kind of that weird, cultural difference sort of thing, or maybe just what came there and what didn't come here. So what kind of trends or things do you notice particularly?
Well, between North America and Japan, one of the biggest differences is how anime is released. You see a lot of things come out on physical media in singles, 2, 3, or 4 episodes at a time, with a lot of packaging. They tend to come out every other month, very quickly after their broadcast, sometimes with cleaned up animation. Just depends on the show, depends on the production committee. But here in North America, it's either season sets or half season sets, depending on how the season is defined. So like the sweet spot is about 12 to 14 episodes. That's what people really prefer here. A lot of streaming simulcasts, where, you know, Japan, it's on TV.
Sure.
It's kind of, things are getting a lot more universal in that just about every anime series, every season gets picked up in one way, either be it streaming, physical, you know, almost all of them get dubs too, unless there's a very, you know, special case for a show. Just about everything gets picked up on, you know, like Hulu, Netflix, Crunchyroll, Funimation. It's, you know, not a lot of fans are left in the lurch, like, oh, I want to watch this show, but it's not available.
Yeah, there are very few now that just don't have it. Like, this, you have to actually like get very granular with certain shows to not, especially all the popular shows get picked up usually, right?
Right.
So I know there are a few shows that I haven't seen picked up that are only like as a manga, like we have it there, but for some reason the anime is missing, and then you have to watch it other ways or try to import it or something.
Sometimes those are, you see a lot of those are the shows that are aimed for kids in Japan,
Yeah,
like for
yeah,
really,
for sure.
really little kids, because the broadcast standards in the United States are different from the broadcast standards in Japan. And those shows are kind of designed to get on TV, and if there's no way to easily get them on TV, if there isn't a TV partner willing to take them right away, or if they need significant edits to make U.S. broadcast standards, that makes them a lot less appealing. And if they are super young, there's not a lot of, there's definitely some, but there's not a huge amount of collectors that want to get the shows that are specifically designed for the little teeny tiny ones. But even then, they're still pretty rare. I mean, you know, obviously like Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon were for kids.
Right.
And they're very, very popular.
Oh, yeah.
So there's always exceptions to the rule. I like how things are, I really like every time more and more I go to Japan, it's more a fan is a fan is a fan. And you go to a Japanese fan event, like Anime Japan or a Tokyo Game Show, which I'm going next month.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
You see the same like convention crowd that you see in America. They're just speaking Japanese. And it's a true fact, every con has a cardboard Gundam. 100%. There's always a cardboard Gundam. And then last time I went to Japan and I cosplayed, there was a cardboard Optimus Prime, and he was so excited to talk to me about Transformers because it's like I understood. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love Optimus Prime. This is so great. So it was kind of like this bonding moment. As things get available so quickly, like you can watch things sometimes the same time as Japanese broadcast, sometimes just like a couple hours later. It's nuts.
It's so much better. It's nice, too, because then you can be relevant in discussions, too.
Right.
Like, there's not that limit holding you back from talking about things with your friends, or if you have friends overseas, or just, like, wherever. It's a lot easier to consume. And kind of going back to those Blu-rays that they sell in Japan, like, those are really cool. And it's almost... like, I get really jealous at seeing all the cool, unique merchandise that they get to promote the anime. Like, you know, you want to buy these things so you can promote your shows, right? Because a lot of shows don't get a second season because it doesn't sell well or something, or, like, there's not enough Blu-rays sold. Like, that's a big deal. And, like, you can't, fans over here, you can't really help that much. Like, sure, you can order things overseas, but how useful is it going to be to you when you can't watch it at home? Like, there's a lot of things like that. It's not the same. Like,
well, more and more, some things are influenced by streaming numbers. Like, if something gets really, really big overseas, that can be a convincing argument.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, so when a North American company or any like licensee around the world buys a show, they put up a minimum guarantee, which is like, it's just money up front, right?
Right.
And the more popular it is in that country, when everybody does well on it, that builds a case to get second season. So sometimes you'll see things come back a year later, or there'll be what's called split core. Like it'll be
the summer and
spring and fall.
Or
they'll take the
fall,
summer
spring,
off or something. There's a million different ways to do it. Some get more content by a movie or an OVA.
Yeah.
But if something really, really catches steam, they can always make more of it. It's just when it catches steam. So if something gets really popular a couple years after the fact, then that gets a little difficult. But it's, the best way to vote for the shows you like is stream them legally.
Yeah.
Buy them legally, buy the Blu-rays, DVDs. domestic releases or Japanese releases, it's all, it all shows the teams in Japan that you want more of this. Things like this. So if a bunch of magical girl shows sell really, really well, you better believe there's going to be a ton of magical girl shows. If there's a bunch of shonen action that's doing well, they're going to make more of it, just like US TV.
Yeah.
Like a couple reality shows did really well, and now there's tons of them.
Yeah.
And then you saw the return of the scripted dramas. A couple of them did really well, and now there's tons of them.
Yeah.
Shows that were a little bit more niche or risky ideas, they took them to, to cable and then to online partners. Now they're winning awards, they're doing really well, and they're getting more of them. So you kind of, vote with your views, vote with what you buy, and there's no better manifestation of your fandom of a show than just owning the show in some way, because you can always go and reference that. And it's nice to have figures and everything, and the CDs and all that stuff. It's really nice to have it, but being able, this is my thing along with physical packaging, is having the show that you love, just to have it any time to reference it, or like, oh, I really liked what happened in episode 4, I'm gonna watch it again, or it's just, it's nice, and it and a lot of people work really hard to make those packages, on both sides of the Pacific, or and I include in packages like art for online streaming services, or all those little icons for every single streaming partner. As a graphic artist, that has to make those, and so I have like all these different sizes you would imagine, just a sheer amount of work. But yeah, it's just watch a bunch of anime. It's not that hard.
The industry, yeah. It's like if you have time. I mean, but it's good. I can just at least say that I'm definitely jealous of the Sailor Moon Blu-ray box sets they had, Cinnamon Crystal ones. I mean, the thing is, like, by the time they get to import stores here, they're like $80, $90, and it's for 2 episodes. It's like, maybe not.
I saw one of those in Japantown when I went. I was like, this is not a lot for the amount of money I have to spend, but
They have cool booklets. They have a little charm inside. They have this really neat. They have this really expensive pearlescent paper. So the paper that is on the crystal boxes is very, very expensive. And hinge boxes, this is me getting like packaging ready. Hinge boxes are very expensive. The first one has a music box in it. You open it up and it sings to you. It plays Moon Pride like a
God, now I
music
want
box
it.
version.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But they also take up a lot of space too.
Right, they're big.
So,
They're not small little.
yeah, and they're non-standard
compact things.
size. So it's another difference. Japanese retail, it turns very, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit more accommodating to odd-sized boxes. But in the United States, first, if you even get on the shelf, that's amazing. But you have to kind of fit the size and, the size of people's shelves here. So we get a lot of feedback from fans that the physical dimensions of a box are extremely important. Because a lot of people, they build their shelves to the Blu-ray height. So you can be as wide as you want.
Sure.
But you got to have the height and the depth properly centered. So you can put like as much as you need to like in that width, and that really, really matters. Because if you're a collector, you want to get as much as you can in that space.
Yeah.
So as pretty as the crystal boxes are, the size is a little cumbersome. So we just started working on designing the crystal packaging. So it's to try to take all the things we really love about the beautiful Japanese sets, but we need, we can't do 2 episodes at a time, right?
Right.
We have to do them in full story arcs. So it's like, how do you take all this beautiful stuff and condense it down? And each one has a booklet, and they're very text heavy, and Japanese text, when translated, takes up a lot more space.
Right.
So, like, how can you do this without, like, 400-page book?
Yeah.
And still fit on the shelf and have the weight be a certain, weight, because when they all get shipped out, it's by poundage. Like, it's a lot of... There's, like layers upon layers upon layers.
There's a lot of logistics that you have to consider.
Yeah. Like, you might, really like one paper, but it's, to cover the box with, but it could be so heavy. It's like, do you choose that paper, or do you put more pages in the book? Or do you, you have to kind of move the levers around? It's a lot like playing a role-playing game. Skill sets.
It's a lot of very specific logistics that go into it to make, the best box possible.
Yeah, so if you know a package designer, hug your nearest package designer, your nearest graphic artist. They work very, very, very hard. It just, there's a lot that goes into the sausage of making anime on both sides of the Pacific.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing I actually wanted to talk to you about is that Naruto is ending. It's coming, kind of.
Well,
to
the
a close.
serialization of the manga,
Sure.
Naruto's main story, wrapped up in October, and Volume 72 of Naruto will be out this fall, but it is not, so it's not the end of the universe at all. It's the end of
the main
Naruto's story.
Yeah.
So he, you know, no spoilers, but, you know, he gets what he wants.
If you haven't seen anything from Naruto, then, you know, probably even
work hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll take a really long time to get there, but you'll get there if you believe in yourself.
Believe it.
So we're working on a lot of things for Naruto because it's in this really cool spot that you have the wrap up of Naruto's story. So we're working on the movie The Last, which correlates to a lot of the end game of the the manga events. And then we have the latest movie we're working on, the Boruto, which is about his son.
Surprise!
Yeah.
No.
So it's like, so you have you have these two generations converging, and it's really, really cool, and it's really fascinating because by working on the Boruto stuff makes me really nostalgic about Naruto when I first started watching Naruto, and I would run around, like way back in the day, I'd run around Gen Con with my hair in pigtails and have a Naruto headband, and it was just really great. And I get those feelings with Boruto, but he's different. Like, he's his own.
He's not little Naruto. He's his own person.
Yeah, he's a punk. He's a little,
I mean,
he's a little
to an extent,
jerk.
a little bit of a little Naruto, but you know.
Yeah, like he's like, he gets a little bit from his dad, but he's like, he's a spicy one, that Boruto. And so it's really, you don't really get that a lot in anime or manga, where you have a really nice joining of the generations and it all makes a lot of sense. So you could really grow up with Naruto, and with The Last and Boruto, I think it's a really good place for people to kind of, if they haven't been in the fandom for a while, get back into it. Or if they haven't experienced before, it's like, what rock have you been living under? It's a good place to start. But we, when we did here in San Francisco a special screening of The Last, and so many people I knew from back in the day, anime fandom, they're like, oh, I haven't really been keeping up on Shippuden, but I'm here for The Last. And everyone's just crying and getting all those feels again. And I've even seen, like, a lot of people I used to cosplay with way back in the day, like 10 years ago. They're like, yeah, let's do Naruto again. Like, it's just, it's like rekindling it. So it's, like, it's nostalgic and a beginning all at the same time. And so for one of the big things that we're doing to really, really celebrate it is at New York Comic-Con, the creator of Naruto, Kishimoto Sensei, is coming out. So it's his first appearance outside of Japan. His first public appearance outside Japan. So he's going to New York Comic-Con. So we're gonna have we're gonna premiere Boruto on Naruto's birthday, October 10th.
Oh, that's cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
this makes me so happy.
Yeah, we're working on a really cool contest because like Naruto's all about working really hard and believing in yourself. So we're picking one fan to be the Hokage for a day, and they're gonna get escorted to all the Naruto events and meet Kishimoto Sensei, and be like have a whole entourage of Naruto characters with them, just be Hokage, and it's gonna be because it's it's really, really rare for, first of all, a manga creator to come to North America because their deadlines are really tight. It's another thing for like such a legendary mangaka to take time out of his very busy schedule and come all the way to New York. So Japan to New York, that's a rough trip.
Yeah.
To come and just hang out with all the fans at New York, and it's like, it's just thinking about it is just electric. Like, we have several meetings every week about like, Kishimoto Sensei's coming. Oh my gosh, will you do everything that needs to be done and prepared, and just so. But it's just this big celebration of Naruto because, like, for me, I got into anime with like Ranma and Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball. For a lot of people who are in anime now, Naruto was their entry point. So I just think how excited I would be if I get to meet Akira Toriyama or Naoko Takeuchi. I think about that. I'm like, okay, this is what people are feeling about Kishimoto Sensei. So it's going to be quite the celebration for Naruto and his family.
So it's not quite over, but there's still a lot of things to celebrate as far as we know now. I know Boruto got like a little one-off kind of
there's a movie.
Yeah, they got the movie, but in addition, I think they did a short manga, like a little one, like a runoff, but we don't know what will happen with him. But for now,
we don't know. We don't know much more than that at this point.
Yeah, but for now, it seems like you guys got a lot of good plans for the wrap up of at least what's out there now.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
even we're working on for the last. There's going to be a little manga insert because there's a special manga that went with the last.
Right.
And the story is so cute, so sweet, and it's going to be in there. And I'm not going to spoiler it, but it's one of those really nice one shots. Just like, this is why I love Naruto so much.
Yeah. So fans, friends, listeners, let us know what you guys love about Naruto. Like, I mean, I remember I was on vacation in Hawaii, and when I first saw Naruto. It was weird. And I was like, oh, I like this. And me and my twin sister watched it, and it was fun. Like, we all have, like, these really good, fun memories of it. So let us know what it's done for you guys. I mean, it's kind of a cool event, you know, very big impact on our culture as well for anime.
Yeah.
So.
Remember when I had a friend that got me to watch it, and they're like, "You'll like it. It's Ninja Harry Potter."
Ninja Harry Potter. That's a great description.
That's amazing.
Very,
Yeah.
very
Amazing.
good,
I was like, I
succinct
love ninjas.
description.
I love Harry Potter. Okay. Oh, he's wearing orange? Yes.
Yes.
And then says, believe it.
Checks all the boxes. Yeah. I love that there's so many big plans for fans, because for me, like, one of my favorite things about watching anime is getting to talk about it with other people. Like, being on Anime Club is one of the highlights of my week. Like, so I love, part of celebrating anime is like celebrating the friends you made through anime and getting to see people you used to cosplay with, or getting to meet people you really admire. So that it warms my heart so much. I love that. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important that you know, through anime, through conventions, through cosplay, through fandom, this is where people meet the people who mean the most in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't even fathom the number of friends that I know that they get married and their bridesmaids and groomsmen all come from people they hung out at cons with, or watched anime with, or went to anime club with, and it's like it's really cool how these stories bring people together.
Yeah. I saw on Tumblr a photo shoot from a Sailor Moon themed wedding, and I wanted to die. It was amazing.
You have to show me those photos.
I gotta find them. Yeah, they're on my Tumblr.
Yeah, there was a friend of mine, Michelle. She had a Sailor Moon themed wedding earlier this year, and one of my really, really close friends was one of the bridesmaids in it. And she was the Mercury, and it was all very, very cool how it was done. It was a lot of work. Like, it was the right amount of subtlety and fandom. It's all about, you know, you do you.
Yeah,
the wedding
exactly.
is, you know, about the couple.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
Weddings last week, I think, the week before.
Yeah, it came up.
Wedding songs.
Yeah, wedding themes.
Yeah.
I have a very large wedding board on my Pinterest because I think they're really pretty. I like it
nice.
because it's about celebrating the couple. So I love when a couple, like, if they share something like the love of a show or a game. I've seen a lot of really, like, well executed, like, nerd themed weddings where it's not just like, you know, like a super mushroom and it's like our Mario themed wedding. Like, it's very, very subtle. Like the Sailor Moon one I found was really beautifully done. I just like that, you know, if you have that connection with somebody and it means a lot to you, then it has a place in your wedding. Like, I like that. I don't know.
You know, do whatever you want. It's your day.
Yeah.
There's no rules.
Yeah.
There's no rules to it. So if you're thinking about having a wedding that you want, and people are trying to get you down, believe in yourself. There's a way to do it.
Yeah.
It's all about you.
Tying it all back to Naruto.
What would Naruto
Believe
do?
it.
Believe it. Yeah.
His colors would totally be orange and black.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no.
It sounds like you
Halloween.
started watching
SF
anime in
Giants.
the 90s like I did, because you mentioned Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon and all of that. Are there any 90s shows that you would like to see make a comeback? Obviously, Sailor Moon Crystal and Dragon Ball have sort of been rebooted. Is there anything else you're like, you know what, I would like this show to come back too?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I would have definitely said, like, yeah, I really got to do Sailor Moon. Like, direct to the manga would be really great. And then wishes come true. For the 90s, there's just so many enduring classics. I thought really hard about that. Because a lot of shows were products of their time. For me, I don't know how it would be possible because it's already pretty perfect the way it is. I would like to see Ranma.
I almost suggested Ranma. It's like, you know what? I wonder how Ranma 1/2 would do if you brought it back. I mean, my only concern is that sometimes the anime, like, the animation in Sailor Moon Crystal is sometimes on and off. Like, sometimes it's really beautiful and sometimes it's not. And somebody actually brought this up on a web board where they're like, it feels like anime sometimes when it's shipped overseas to do the animation, it's not always top quality. Like, even though the story is still amazing and the characters and, like, the voice acting still amazing, and sometimes there's, like, bits and pieces of the anime that look a little wonky. And so I'm like, I love Ranma's style, and I'm like, would they mess with that style, or would they sort of keep that look?
Well, when it comes to animation, so I always encourage people to reserve judgment until you see the final video, because so anime in Japan, it makes it to broadcast like to the wire before it has to go on.
Right.
And sometimes it's not 100% complete.
Yeah.
And they go back for what becomes the Blu-ray, like the final Blu-ray masters, and sometimes they don't do anything, sometimes they do a lot. I've been at my desk because we're working on the dub for Sailor Moon Crystal, and as the episodes come in, it's a lot easier for me at my desk to listen to a dub because I can kind of watch it on and off. And going through and watching the first few episodes of Crystal with the final animation, with the dub and everything, it's so amazing. Like, I get all of the feels and then some more. Again, this is specifically on Crystal. Like, there's something about all of Crystal coming together. It's just like, oh my god, it's so good. But yeah, for Ranma, because I really like how the martial arts were animated. Like, they're really, really top notch. Like, they're just really great. But I also think some of those moves would really translate well to modern technology, because you could get more camera angles. Sometimes with the use of CG or just moving things around, and just the way cinematography has changed a little bit since the 90s. So I'm interested in that. The only thing I would worry about is, so Ranma has like this like purity and positivity to it, even though it's full of like a lot of characters are just really crappy people. So bad things happen to them. But I would. Yeah, it's like it's so close to being perfect. I would just, if it was redone, I would like to tighten it up a little bit.
You just have to clean up some stuff, make it maybe look a little more modern. Not necessarily change up the animation style, but just clean it up. Like, just the colors, make it a little bit more vivid, and maybe make some animations a little bit more smooth, more crisp. Take advantage of more angles and different things. Well,
and the more space too.
Yeah.
So anime used to be done 4x3.
Right.
Now when you have 16:9, you got more scenery to play with.
Yeah.
So like in Ranma, I could just imagine those big scenes of Jisenkyo, how great they would look in widescreen. Like to be able to see all of that beauty and just be able to set up those shots. Like I think the training scene in the spring, like if it was really wide, would look really, really cool between Ranma and Genma in particular. But that would be really good. What other 90s series? Like there's some, because I think like idol stuff is starting to like really make a comeback. Idols and Magical Girls.
Yeah.
Another series that was darn near perfect, Utena.
That's what I was
Revolutionary Girl Utena.
Yeah, Utena is like darn near perfect, or, any of that stuff.
It's just like cleaning it up and just making it, making more use of the space and just getting it out there again. I think is so important, because I think it's one of those shows that maybe some people missed over who weren't super into 90s anime, or maybe just like the newer generations that do like magical girl stuff and like amazing shows. Like, hey, you would like this one. Go watch Revolutionary Girl Utena. It's awesome.
No, Utena is really amazing. And when it originally came out, right after Sailor Moon, it was like the right time for that show to come out. And I think Ikahara, the director, is a genius. In fact, some of my favorite Sailor Moon episodes were the ones Ikahara directed. Just the way he plays at the scene visually is very, very intriguing. And I think, of course, he's had some shows recently like Penguin Drum and Yuri Kuma that are just like totally off the rails, just totally off the rails. That's what I like. But some of the things I really love about Utena are like technically filler compared to the manga. Like I really love Nanami. I couldn't imagine Utena without Nanami, because she's nuts with the cowbell. Like, she was the OG needs more cowbell girl.
Yeah.
So.
Do you miss that about Sailor Moon Crystal? I mean, it's very close to the manga, and you don't have those filler episodes of Sailor Moon, which some of those were my favorite, Tuxedo Melvin. But, like, do you sort of miss, like, having those episodes where you get to know the girls a little bit more? Because in Crystal, it's much tighter, where you're moving, which is good, but on the other hand, you don't have those individual episodes that focus on Mercury or Mars, or they're outside their sailor suits. Do you miss those at all?
Yeah, I do, but I find that some of my favorite episodes in anime are, like, non-canon. So like my favorite episode of Dragon Ball, number 1 with a bullet, is Goku gets a driver's license. It's the best. Best episode of Dragon Ball Z. Don't even try to fight me on it. It's the best thing. One of my favorite episodes in Sailor Moon is the Gone with the Wind story with Rhett Butler, the fat kitty.
Oh yes! I've forgotten about that one.
Me too.
I really love how that whole episode doesn't even need words because it's done so visually. I love Rhett Butler, and I love learning a little bit more about Luna and learning a little bit more about Zoisite.
Right.
Because I love villains that have a fear of getting dirty, and Zoisite is just so over the top. It's like, oh, Ratsu. And then Luna having to deal with stuff. So it's but I really appreciate how Crystal sticks so close to the manga. It's like you can love them both for different ways.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the awesome thing is whenever you get a remake or you get a different adaptation, you get a little bit more of that universe. It's more to love in a way. So maybe one day we'll see some of our other favorite 90s come back in a different way. But I mean, as long as it keeps the heart and soul of what it is.
And I'm really I'm really loving my second time through Crystal. In some ways more than the first time. Maybe because I'm not watching at 3 a.m.
That helps.
crying over subtitles, because we would live tweet Sailor Moon Crystal every time it was on, me and Amy and my associate at Viz, and I was like, it's really rough having all those feelings in the middle of the night. Especially that last episode is just completely spent.
Okay, well, listeners, let us know what 90s anime you would like to see come back and how you would like it done. Yes. And with that, we should jump into the watch party. So have you seen Stein's Gate?
Yeah, way back in the day I worked at Funimation, and Steins Gate was on my team. So
nice.
I love
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
How wonderful that you're here then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love my Yuri, so these are really good episodes for her.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
dressed up as her.
You guys just got another bonus to your team.
Because we've been kind of like,
I love her.
I dressed up as her at Halloween once at Funimation. I kept sticking my head in the microwave, and it was the best.
I like her more and more every episode, honestly. I did not like her at the beginning. I was just kind of like, eh. And then, but she's so sweet, when they're, I don't want to jump the gun or anything on the episode, but she's,
No, do it.
She's,
I don't want to be it this time.
Okay. I feel bad, but, I like how when they're talking about sending the D-mail back for the lottery thing, she's like, shouldn't we be doing it for world peace? I'm like, oh, you sweet baby child. Oh my goodness.
They were so disappointed that he wanted to do it for a lottery. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
that's
really?
what you want to do.
Hey, just to be fair to him, it's a pretty good test.
It's a good idea.
It's
It's a very scientific test.
It's discreet.
It is.
Kind of. I mean, as long as he was
Well, he only
you
went for
can't-
third prize.
Right, he
Yeah.
didn't go for the top prize. He's trying to be smart about it and not draw attention to himself.
Yeah, I wasn't as opposed to the lottery idea as everybody in the show. I was like, yeah,
It's very practical.
It's a very easy test. You either win or you don't. It's a very good scientific first step. So yeah,
Look, if
go ahead.
Biff could get away with it in Back to the Future too, I mean, there's precedent. I mean, D-mail, there's a connection there. So.
Exactly, they clearly
He didn't have a sports almanac, but he did have lottery numbers. It was a really smart idea.
Yeah, I liked Mayuri a lot more after that because I was like, because she did it again. After the test happened,
Right,
she
said
said it
a
again,
similar theme.
which shows me that she's not just putting up a front. That's something she actually believes because she repeats it after the
stays.
world line has changed.
Yeah, it stays in all of her. And she's just so... I know a lot of people get really annoyed by her in the beginning because we're all anime fans. We all know a girl like Miuri, and she's not always 100% pure like that. A lot of times it's just very superficial and kind of annoying, but
Yeah.
she's so sweet.
That's just
you
her.
kinda- and
She
she
is.
just really loves chicken tenders. And I also really love chicken tenders. And
We actually...
when you're on a chicken bender, don't forget your chicken tenders.
Did you see that Denny's meme about that? When you're on a tender bender and it's someone lying asleep with chicken tenders? Yeah, that's Mayuri. But anyway.
So we have a comment, and it's actually really good.
Yeah.
Really in line with this. It says from Daniel @Salmater119 on Twitter. Mayuri plus chicken fingers equals OTP. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
And then it
Two
starts
parents.
getting like food wars, and she like really loves food. That
Yeah.
would be like the crossover.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Mary,
Oh,
chicken
I would
tender,
die.
plus Soma,
Love food.
plus timelines changing. That would just, it would go to a really weird place.
This is the show I
real
want to see.
Oh my god, you've just changed my life. I want that so bad. But
We should actually poll everyone listening. Like, what mashup would be like the most ideal for
Yeah,
that?
what
Let us
mashups
know.
to
I actually want to
mashups?
know.
we have a lot of we're kind of calling out to the audience a lot with lots of different suggestions.
Yeah,
but I like this one a
tell
lot.
us these things.
No, but it'd be
Tell us what you
amazing.
think. No, but really, tell us what you think about mashups because I like that idea. But yeah, back to what you said about we all know the anime girl who's kind of superficially like that. That's kind of why I didn't like her at the beginning. I was like, no one's that nice. Like I think I'm pretty nice. Like I think I'm pretty nice, but I was like, she's nice, but I feel like there's something wrong with her. And then it just keeps going, and I'm like, no, she's just a really genuinely good person.
Has a little Oopa plush. And it's not even little. It's a pretty big one.
Her
And she just
cushion.
wants you to hold it if you're stressed.
I know.
I have that too,
that-
but it's not an Oopa. But
I
it's
have
on my
one
desk.
too. I bought a substitute plushie from Pokemon so I could hug it at my desk.
Sometimes
So-
you just need to hug something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, she just really knows herself. She's like, oh, well, you know, hugging this plush really helps me, so it probably helps you too. Because she's just so pure.
Yeah.
Not everybody gets energy from hugging plushes, but she's so pure in that she wanted to share this one weird trick that makes my day better.
Yeah.
Is, you know, hug this plushie, and it just comes from this pure place, and that's how, you know, I like how all of the members, they really
And you see,
fit in.
yeah, you see kind of like how her positivity reflects on like Okadin especially.
Yes.
Because he was feeling really down, and then he was with, I think it was an episode.
It was episode 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, with him and Kurisu were just like in the lab.
Oh, and he's, like,
Garu and
texting
Yeah, he's
Mayusa
waiting
was
for
out.
John Tito to text him
Text
back,
back.
and everyone is texting him and calling him. He's getting more and more annoyed, and then when Mayuri does it, he calms down. Like
he's
he
like the
doesn't have
only-
the heart to yell at her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the only one that makes him smile. So
Yeah, and I really like in watching, you know, I watched it all again recently, and I was, because I was working at, you know, Funimation at the time when this show was being produced, and I'm really good friends of J. Michael Tatum and Patrick Seitz and, you know, and Colleen and all those guys, and I know how much love and effort went into the dub script, like between, you know, Patrick and Tatum working on it, and how, like, they took this time to just really craft something really amazing, and it helps that, you know, Tatum, he really loves Doctor Who, so this is kind of like, this is like very much his jam, and Patrick is so great. They're really, really intelligent writing. He plays John Titor, and Tatum plays Ocarine. So these episodes, having them interact for the first time, like, it made me, like, one of the things I really loved doing when I was senior brand manager over at Funimation is sometimes I would just go over into studios and just, like, listen a little bit and just see what was going on in the booth, just kind of get the culture of the booth and bring that, you know, to the marketing plan, and just, like, everyone put so much passion into Steins Gate, because it was kind of like the show that just, like, and these are the episodes where it starts really hitting you,
Right.
because it seems like, oh, timey-wimey microwave mad scientist show, okay, and then it just, like, it's a slow burn. That's why I'm really loath to say give everything 3 episodes, because I think Steins Gate, you really need like 6.
yeah, it needed like 5.
I did too. I needed 5 to really care,
And-
but I love it more and more every episode.
Right, and the reason we chose this, like, we did not choose this. This show was chosen by our audience. Like,
Yes,
they wanted
our
to watch
audience
this together.
chose it.
You guys, you're wonderful.
Yay.
So
And it's an important show.
yeah,
It's
there's a reason.
Like, I
It was
wouldn't
picked.
recommend it as a starter anime for anyone, but it's one of those, like, you have to have a little bit
I
more
think
patience.
it could be for some people who are really interested in time travel and just like sci-fi shows. Like,
Yeah, if they're put off by Moe
It's
or
not-
Magical Girls
yeah,
and
but
they want
ev-
something different.
Yeah, this is a fantastic story. It's not just like a capital A anime out there. It's just really well
It's-
composed. It knows what it's doing.
It's a story that just happens to be an anime, as opposed
Yeah.
to something where you're like, this is just capital A anime,
Like,
weird.
It's just weird
This
that
is-
it works. You know.
It's something that I would show to someone who wasn't super into anime as they think anime is. Like we talked about earlier, like people who think anime is a certain thing, and then you show them a show that's something completely different. That's what I would do with Steins Gate. Is, you know, if you don't like Dragon Ball, or you don't like, you know, Magical Girls or Moe, I would show you this and be like, this medium does a lot of different things.
Yeah, it has an amazing potential for storytelling,
Yeah.
and
It's very
work over that.
believable. Like I think Steins Gate would work just as well as live action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that it's fantastical, but not over the top fantastical, and I still think it animated was just like the right thing for the story. But I could see it, I could see if it came out as a live action about the same time as Battlestar Galactica, I would have a hard time picking which one I would get into.
Yeah. Oh,
And I like that
would've
it's
been hard.
character driven as much as plot driven. So like the whole reason why I keep recommending the dub is because you can just tell
There's so
that
much
the
love in it.
entire cast is just loving it. Like I end up preferring the subs, but there are certain anime that are so well dubbed and they do such a good job like getting into these characters. And like Ocarina is like, to me, he's just so much funnier in the English version because he is so up his own butt about how genius he is. It's just like Tatum does such a good job just like bringing that to the forefront, and they're like everyone wild lines and they're not in the same booth together, but you'd never know it the way that everyone commits so much to those characters.
Yeah, and if you know him as a person, he's, first of all, so J. Michael Tatum is one of the most well-read people I have met ever. Like, he is so well-read, he's so smart, so intelligent, like, he appreciates the craft of words, everything about it, and he loves talking, and he loves, like, if you just sit down with him, he will weave a story, and you'll be transfixed for an hour. And Ocarina, all in his head about everything, just these long, sprawling monologues that go everywhere, it's really, like, in many ways, like, a perfect role for him, and that he just gets to just, like, jam into a stream of consciousness, and it's all very plugged into the story. And it's, like, I normally, like, love both dub and sub equally, but I feel like to, experience the gravity of these decisions these characters are facing on Steins Gate, it almost builds the argument of experiencing it in your native language, so you get the gravity of it first.
Yeah, because the Japanese is really, really good. I was actually watching the Japanese sub this morning, so I like to give both the chance, but there's something about taking so much in that you have to hear it in your own language so that you don't have to stop and read or try to be like, well, I think they're really saying this in Japanese. It's more like you're just internalizing it more.
Yeah, it's just really, just the story is just so well done, and it's one of those that, in these episodes in particular, with the sending a D-mail back in time, the lottery, and then realizing the consequences, the circumstances, and some of the other characters start dabbling in that maybe wishes come true. You start seeing everybody's, everyone's reason for being, and it's very real. Like, I love that it's sci-fi, but if you were in the position of those characters, you would probably make the same decisions.
Yeah.
Right, like we see with Ruka.
Ruka, I really wanted to talk about Ruka today.
So good. Yeah.
Because Ruka became a very important character to me. I knew about Ruka before watching the show. Like, that was just one of the things I happened to know about the show before going in. So I knew it was going to happen.
Was it because of the article you wrote that I
It was
Ruka?
because
Maybe,
of the
sorry.
article that you
I mean,
wrote.
it's not a big spoiler.
No,
it's
well,
more
no
of a
spoilers
thing.
because they do end on a cliffhanger for episode 8. So I don't know
I
what's
don't
been
know what
confirmed.
happens
Okay.
after that. I just know that this was a story arc
That
with Ruka,
Ruka-
that Ruka wants to be a girl, or that Ruka is a girl, and
Ruka's a guy. But
as far as like
as a girl.
the terminology for trans
Sure.
people goes, like, she's like, I would refer to her using she her pronouns.
Sure.
Like, as far like she is like, I guess technically a guy, but she wants to be a girl, and that's the whole story arc. And you don't see that there's not a lot of trans characters in anything, so I always love seeing that in anime that we watch. I talk about this with a lot of different shows of different kinds of character representation. So I liked seeing Ruka, like,
And I like it's not a big joke either.
It's
Not played up for
It's
laughs.
just a
I mean,
fact.
it's a joke originally. Like,
The way he
entire-
describes
he-
it,
he
yeah.
says,
the
like,
way
oh.
he does it at the first.
so feminine, like the most feminine, like one of the most like cute.
Yeah, the
Right.
epitome of
People I've
femininity.
seen, yeah.
But it's a dude.
It's a
It's a
dude.
dude.
yeah.
And
I didn't
and
like that
also
joke sequence at
talking-
all.
So I think it makes sense though, because at first Ruka never defends. I mean, it's like weird with the terminology right now, because like he kind of defines as a woman, but not completely. Never says that. I guess I'd be more comfortable as a woman.
Right.
So if we're going with that, then sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're thinking about how, Ocarina, not the most socially well-adjusted
Sure.
being in the world. So making those crass jokes makes sense for that character.
Exactly.
Right?
Right,
It
yeah.
doesn't make it okay.
Ruka never. We established, never has said anything about wanting to be a girl.
Yeah,
Or
until
it just
this
says
episode.
that he or she is very feminine. Like that's it. Like,
Yeah,
it's very feminine. Never says, "Don't call me a girl," don't call me a boy.
Yeah,
like,
so
it never corrects anybody. Is very subtle, and I think it's a very important part of this is when she does say, "Hey, I would be better as a woman, and I heard that you guys can change things, and I want this to happen."
Yeah,
and that's
through a very
important.
innocent way, too.
Yeah,
like,
right.
through essentially an old wives' tale. That,
Yeah, it's not angry.
Oh
It's just,
god, it's so sweet.
Yeah.
how Ruka does that. I guess like because Ruka never said any, like Ruka was just happened to be very feminine. In the first before this episode, they refer to him as he. You think of him as he, and then after this, where Ruka finds out about D-mail, that's the first thing she thinks of, right? The first thing is, I can use this to be a girl. Like I'd be more comfortable as a girl, and so like instead of some people would be like, oh, I could use this to win the lottery. I could use this to do this. That was the first thing. It meant a lot to Ruka.
And that's what I mean by not playing for laughs. Yes, it's really annoying when Ocarine makes his crass jokes, but at the same time, it's like the character itself isn't this over-the-top threatening character. Like I've seen in other anime, which can get offensive after a while.
Yeah.
Whereas
Like
this
they
is a
don't
character
learn.
like you sympathize with and you want the best for her kind of thing. And I like that.
Yeah.
But then you see, like, it's almost like when everyone is making their D-mail requests, you get the one-line version of the essence of that character. So the Ocarina in the Lottery, it's not about riches, it's about science and math. It's
the
about a very
test.
precise test. With Mayuri, it's world peace. Like, why wouldn't you do it, And with Ruka, it's, what if I could change the past? Like, it's what one thing would you want to go and change that wouldn't, like, disrupt everything? It's
Yeah, and
very,
Moika
very
wanted
pure
to-
and subtle.
Yeah, Moika wanted her phone changed too, which I thought was interesting. Or she said, "Don't change the phone." I feel like that was more significant than.
Yeah, so she's just gone.
Yeah, she's just
not
gone
part- she's
now.
not part of the lab
Some-
anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like she's like, "Oh, I'll text you later." Like, so she's around, but something is clearly changed. Not just she's standing there, doesn't remember, doesn't know with a new phone. Something happened.
A thing to point out that is very important, not spoiler, it's just at this point we found out that Akabe, I keep calling him like different things, but yeah, I don't know what to
He
call
has
him.
all those
He has, like,
names. It's fine.
Owen Koma, he's been like announced as the savior. Like oh, maybe you have the power to change the 1%, like get us over the 1% threshold.
Right.
And every time they do a time travel thing or like the D-mail, send a D-mail, the little clock thing pops up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's when something happens, be sure to monitor that. Like it's important. Just remember, like I don't want to go back. You guys should look at yourselves because I want you to know.
No, I noted it every time. Like
It's-
that's very deliberate.
It is super important. So
they wouldn't show it if it wasn't important. It
Yeah.
is a very specific.
That's what I love
choice.
about this.
like at
this
first
show.
it kind of
It's so
doesn't make
deliberate.
sense. It's like, what is it supposed to be? Like, is it counting down to something? Is it counting up to something? And it's like,
And my first thought was
okay.
like, this is like 24 when the clock comes up and it has the thing. Obviously, it's not like 24 because 24 is just it's like this is 24 hours or whatever.
Yeah, so-
but I like this show because it is very deliberate. I'm not left wondering like, oh, that was pointless. Everything is a hint. Everything is something you should be paying attention to.
And
Yeah.
there's a lot of rewatch value. So I think
Oh,
I've
yeah,
watched,
yeah.
I think I've watched Steins Gate all the way through about like 5 or 6 times. And
Oh,
I never
wow.
get-
Wow.
I never get. Well, when you work on a show, even if if it's someone on your team, like, and this is one of my philosophies as a marketer. Not everybody thinks this way. This is just my jam. I think it's very important to watch every episode and like understand it. And if you don't understand it the first time through, go back and try again, and just try to immerse yourself because every show that you work on, even if it's not your favorite show, it is someone's favorite show.
yeah.
And we all, as nerds, we've had a piece of media that we love with all of our heart get adapted in a way and it kind of breaks your heart. Like, you never want to be that heartbreaker. Right? You want to give it, the proper justice. So, in Steins Gate, I just watch it multiple times because it's comforting. I always get something, and these episodes are very pivotal for me. The next few after this are just
It kind of stinks because we broke up a 2-part episode and with the watch party, just how the schedule falls. So we'll get Chaos Theory Homeostasis 2 next time. So we'll be watching, for next time, episodes 9 and 10, which is really seems so fast. It's like,
It's
didn't we
so
just start?
fast.
No, I feel like I just started this last week.
Yeah, I kept clicking on episode 6. I was like, no, I've seen this episode. And I was like, no, we are
I did the
one
same
more.
thing. I clicked on an earlier episode. I was like, wait, like what week are we on already?
Yeah.
I wanted to keep going. Like I was watching 7 and 8 last night, and I didn't want to stop, but I also didn't want to get ahead of myself and accidentally spoil something.
Yeah.
But yeah, too, like, can you? So when I watched Steins Gate the first time, I got to watch all of it in a row. But I really appreciate the struggle of people who had to watch it week to week. Like in Japan, like when I had to watch it week to week and like having all these cliffhangers.
Yeah.
Like that's part of the experience too of a story, because you can experience it by marathoning it. You can experience it in pieces of different sizes, and it depends on what part of what life stage you're in when you're watching it, how something affects you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, and it's like I resisted, for this. I went back and I watched the episodes again, and like I really wanted to go on to episode 9. I'm like, no, shut it down.
Yeah, it's good to have. It's really good to have like a little patience with this, because then we can break down and analyze. Hey, that part was really important. Now think about it. Go home and think.
Yeah. And I think you talked about like where you are in your life when you're watching a show. For me, one of the most important things that I'm getting out of the show and why I'm loving it more every episode is that, I mean, we talked about Mayuri a little while ago and how she calms Okarine down. Like her positivity is really important to the group. And I just feel with all the characters in this show, everybody has a purpose. There's no one who is purposeless. And I definitely relate to, I mean, you've talked about relating to Mayuri and like not feeling like you fully belong somewhere. It's important to me to see everybody providing something unique in a group, because that's something that's just personally really important to me, is that everybody can contribute something, and it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a top-notch scientist to be a lab member and to be important. And I just love that more and more every episode. It just makes me feel better about where I am in my life and where I am in my group of friends. And
no one is treated as less than. It's easy to think in the beginning that Mayuri is treated as a little bit less than, but she gets her place, and like her just subtle actions like sharing her cosplay outfits, because she gets gets a lot of comfort from just sewing, and I do too. Like when I know like I get a day off and I need to just zen out and not be on the internet or not work. Just the motion of moving fabric through a sewing machine and knowing that my hands are occupied and I tune other things out. It's very relaxing, and I feel like there's in Mayuri she's so happy, she's so positive, but there's a sadness in there that she has to reconcile, and that's the part of Mayuri I see in me, is that I can see her just, relaxing and sewing things, or even she probably has a closet full of things she sews just for sewing's sake, to like, here, come play with me, put this outfit on, we'll be pretty. Yeah. And it's very selfless.
Yeah. Yeah, she's becoming more and more interesting to me, because I do sense that sadness in her.
But then she would still just stick her head in the microwave, too. Which is kind of sweet in a different way.
She's still silly. She's still her. Like, everyone has more complexity to them, and like, I know at first, at least face value, Mayuri didn't seem like she had that. She was just there to be silly, and she's not.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yay.
I'm glad.
You guys picked a really, really, you guys picked a really, really deep show for everyone.
Yeah, we had a lot of really great shows.
Well, it's about ready to get pretty rough for you guys. Sorry. This Steins Gate just keeps getting better and better and better. And it's
I told you guys, it's like everyone's about to get punched in the face, so... Not in the gut, in the face.
I don't know. I have a love for shows that completely wreck me. Yeah. Which goes right back to school.
Get wrecked. And for me, like it was really interesting seeing the people working on it get really affected by it while working on it. It's like that passion. Like part of the reason why I really love Steins Gate is I just remember all of the love that went into it.
That's really cool.
And that's like, and there's some shows, like I've worked on a lot of shows in my career, that the ones that just stick with me for a long haul, the ones that are just people are really passionate about. Like, you can get down on Sailor Moon, because like all the actors and the directors, everyone are just so passionate about Classic and Crystal, and all of them are. You can always tell when people have like the nerdery, to get the twinkle in their eye, and they get really, really into it, and they're passionate, and that way you know that it's right. These are the right people to be working on it, and just the other way, Steins Gate hits me in the feels.
Yay. My heart. So, next week, like we said, we're going to be watching episodes 9 and 10. Somehow we're that far already. And you can participate in the conversation. We didn't get into too many conversation pieces today. We didn't get into too many comments, but we will get those more, and as long as you guys keep sending them. You can hashtag IGN IGNIME on Facebook and Twitter so we can find them. And, of course, our Facebook group is facebook.com/group/IGN Anime Club. And we want to hear from you guys. It's important to us. And we know some of you guys watch along and then like just listen in, and like I'm guilty. That's what I do too. But also if you have something to say, please let us know.
Yeah.
Like Sean Mann said that he also vastly prefers the dub. Like he likes that too. And it's just good stuff to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's okay, whichever one you like. Some
Yeah,
shows I
but-
like sub more, some I like dub more, and that's okay. However you
Preferences
like the show,
are
what
fine.
matters is you're
Yeah.
watching
Yeah.
anime.
Yeah.
There's no right answer, really.
Yeah, and we do. I scroll through the Facebook group quite often to see what people are talking about. I love everybody's participation in that group. So
Yeah.
yeah, like definitely continue to do that. If even if we don't mention a comment or something, like we do read them.
Right.
And I love our Facebook group so
Yeah,
much.
it's so active that it's hard to like. I can't
hard to
comment on
keep up.
everything,
Yeah.
but I love
Yes.
going through and reading and seeing people interact, and everyone is so nice to each other and civilized, and it's really great. And people say that they love our group because they can talk to other anime fans and not have it knock down, drag out, fight about things. Like they can actually have a discussion.
Yeah.
It's the best part.
Yep.
For sure.
It's all about love.
Yay. Okay, so wrapping it up, you can follow me on Twitter at HaveitGross. Kelly.
You can follow me on Twitter at Inkydojiko, INKYDOJIKKO.
Lena.
I am at Morphing Ball.
I am at Megan MEGHAN_IGN.
Sure, where can we find you?
For Sailor Moon stuff, there's a Viz Sailor Moon account. It's at Sailor_Moon_NA. But if you want to geek out with me personally, my personal Twitter is at Tristan Citrine. That's TristenCitrine. It's kind of long.
And it's awesome. So.
And orange.
Yeah.
Lots of orange.
Well,
So
thank
if you
so-
see oranges, you found the right place.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking with us. Like, if you guys didn't catch it for some reason, go listen to our Silence Gate conversation because it was amazing.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so awesome insight that you got to work on the show. So
Yeah, I didn't get it. It wasn't directly my title. It was a title of someone on my team.
Sure.
So it was kind of like I get to experience it like one step away, but it was, it really
you got to be
impressive.
there for it.
Yeah.
We got to drink a lot of Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
you mean DK Pepper?
DK Pepper.
Yeah, and thank you for geeking out with us all
Yes.
day.
Yeah, thank you. And
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you guys for all your support of Sailor Moon and Naruto and Ranma and
Absolutely.
everything. Thank you guys for all your support of Sailor Moon. And any of you guys going to New York Comic Con, come say sup. I'll be hanging out with all the Naruto crew and Kishimoto Sensei.
Yeah.
Talking about ninjas. And why orange is the best color.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps up for episode 19. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Yay, anime!
Yay!
Yay!